got a great guest in studio today to talk North Mason Regional Fire Authority. No one better than Jeromy Hicks. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I am well. Good to see you. Good to talk with you. Start connecting with you guys a little bit more often here from the North Mason Regional Fire Authority. You can find them online at northmasonrfa.com. Also on the social media and Facebook and Twitter and things like that. So for folks who are just for the first time hearing about the North Mason Regional Fire Authority, where's the districts that they combined, and you guys are now in kind of a bigger area in the part of the north end of the county, right?
Yeah, so we cover the north end of the county, just south of the Kitsap border, all the way into just before Allen, about 136 square miles. North Mason Regional Fire Authority is kind of the combination of Mason County Fire District 8, which used to be Tahuya, and then Mason County Fire District 2, which was Belfair and surrounding areas there. Back in a couple years back, they combined and formed the Regional Fire Authority, and that's where we are today.
Things have been working good with that combination?
Yeah, very well, very well.
I was talking to Sheriff Salisbury yesterday, and we touched briefly on the subject of the Hawkins Middle School event last week, and all the law enforcement personnel that showed up. You guys came to the scene as well?
Yep.
What was that like for you, and able to finally connect those kids back with their parents?
It was great. There was multiple fire agencies on scene, ourselves, Central Mason, and Mason County Fire District 3 lend resources to that. We work every year on a plan for just that. The school district has a very comprehensive plan on what to do in those situations. Fire and EMS get together and sit around a table and talk about it. This was the first time that that plan was ever put into place. I mean, thankfully, I guess. But from that plan, we learned a lot of things of what we could do next time. There's a lot of components to that plan that work well on paper. An example would be how to reunite kids with parents, where thinking you have enough space to do that and you don't. And we saw that fall a little bit short, I think, with using the Thiller Center, for example, which is now also going to change into another school. So we're going to have to revamp that plan. Thankfully, nothing worse happened in that event, and we were able to take a lot of data from that event, and we're going to be able to make it better. But it was a very stressful situation for a while, but in the end, it was. I'm glad that nothing else happened.
Yeah. Wow. It was amazing to watch it all unfold and hear about it all last week. We are looking at some other things that the North Mason Regional Fire Authority does work on for its citizens there in the district. I know you guys work hard on getting smoke detectors that are functioning properly in the homes of people, and you got a special deal for this, right?
Yeah. So about 10 years ago, we started to realize that smoke detectors were ending their life. At 10 years, smoke detectors they go bad, whether they're wired into your house, whether they're battery operated, and people weren't replacing them or couldn't afford to replace them. So we've worked out some deals with local businesses. Scott McClendon's Hardware is one of them that basically provides these smoke detectors to us at a very reduced cost or no cost. We're able to then provide these to our residents for free. We don't charge for the smoke detectors, so residents could come in and pick them up. We prefer to install them. We'll come out to your house and install the smoke detectors, test your smoke detectors. We'll replace the batteries for you. All of our fire apparatus carry smoke detectors, so when we go on calls, or if you see a fire truck in the neighborhood, or if they're at your neighbor's house, walk over and ask them for some smoke detectors.
Wow.
They'll install them on site for you.
Wow.
And
so
we do that.
So the chirping that you may hear may not be a change the battery chirp. It may be, hey, I'm 10 years old. Get a new one.
Yeah, commonly the smoke detectors don't. The chirping is a battery issue. Now, you are right with that with carbon monoxide detectors.
Okay.
The newer technology in the carbon monoxide detectors will actually chirp when they're at the end of the life, and carbon monoxide detectors are good for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So at 5 years, and you could actually pull it off the wall and look on the back, and there's a sticker. It will tell you what the the beep code is, if you will. One chirp every 3 seconds means this. And this is something new we're finding now, because CO detectors are kind of a newer technology that people are putting in their houses now, and we're going to calls where people think it's their smoke detectors, and it's actually their carbon monoxide detector that they mounted on their wall 5 years ago and almost forgot about where this thing is. So we're finding those. We've also worked out deals with carbon monoxide detectors. Obviously, you should have them in your home when there's wood stoves or gas appliances, stuff like that, one per floor by your sleeping areas. But the local hardware stores in Belfair, both McClendon's and Mitchell Lumber, sell those, and they've done a really good job at keeping those prices really low on those carbon monoxide detectors, knowing that our campaign is to get these into the houses. So we've worked with them to do that, and we used to stock them and then have them available and sell them to the residents, but now the store is just keeping them at such a low price that we don't need to buy them at bulk anymore, and they're keeping that price low, almost at their cost. So
that's
if you're
really good.
Looking for a carbon monoxide detector in Belfair, I'm telling you're not going to find a cheaper place for those. So.
That's a good deal then. Scott McClendon's Hardware.
Scott McClendon's Hardware.
The other thing that you guys do to help out folks is the weather gets nicer, more folks out on the waters. You start heading out, you say, we're getting on the boat today. Let's get in the car. You get to the boathouse and you realize, I don't know, my life jackets. So then instead of going home, you can stop by one of the fire stations. Yeah,
so last year we started with a program partnering with the AmeriCorps and Washington Service Corps to provide water safety education for our kids. We did this in the schools, went out to all the schools, had assemblies, we have our safety days, and then one of the AmeriCorps members thought, well, what about this loaner program? I've heard about this in some of my classes. Nowhere around here they were doing it. And we were kind of surprised to find that out. So we got a lot of information on how to build these loaner stations and how to get free life vests. And what they are is every one of our not everyone, I'm sorry, every staff station. So Tahuya, Belfair, and Collins Lake all have life vest loaner stations. In addition, we provided one to the Washington State Parks in Tawana and Washington State Parks in Belfair.
Oh, wow.
And if you go and you realize that you don't have your life vest or you forgot it at home, you could stop by and borrow a life vest. We'll let you have it for the day. You could borrow it. And we kind of teamed up with the Mason County Sheriff's Office, because they do an education program through their enforcement division on boat safety checks and stuff like that, where we find out, people will get there to the ramp and go, oh man, we took those out of our boat last summer to make sure they didn't mold.
Yeah.
Got them at home. So instead of them driving all the way home, which for some could be a couple hours, they could stop by our fire station and get these life vests for the day and be compliant with all the laws of the water. So
wow, that's a great deal.
Found out that that's been very useful for us.
One more thing here for you on when it comes to medicine and preventative maintenance, there's a big push on this, and I know that one of the things that you guys do is you look to help folks who may have fallen in their homes to work to ways to mitigate that so a fault doesn't happen in the future. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So, like last year, I was talking about the Life Vest program. That was an AmeriCorps program. We partner with them. Mm-hmm. We did that again this year, but we changed it from water safety and bicycle safety to fall prevention. And working with the county medical program director, Dr. Hoffman, he had come up along with the other fire districts with how do we keep people out of the hospital, specifically fall patients, elderly fall patients. And they were working through some ideas to get these patients care, physical therapy care, mitigate some hazards in their house. Mm-hmm. Well, we took that one step further and said, okay, we want to provide a couple resources, a couple members of this AmeriCorps program to actually go out and do safety checks on houses, help the patients mitigate what the issues are, whether they're rugs, slippery decks, stuff like that, and then make sure that they follow up with their physical therapists and go from there. So we've been providing this for a year, and it's been very positive. We have a couple senior centers in our area. We have the new Faith in Action Senior Hub, which our members are there almost 3 times a week providing this information and education, and we've hopefully when this is done, we'll find a real huge decrease in the number of calls that we're going on to patients that are just need help mitigating hazards.
So you can call, I mean, obviously if you guys have to show up on scene, there may not be the opportunity to look around and do some work on this. Would you call ahead, or would a parent or family member say, can you stop by my mom's place, my dad's place, and look at this?
Yeah, so there's two. One is they get referred by our crews. Our crews go on call and go, holy smokes, there's some stuff that needs to happen here. We need to send out the fall prevention team to help with this. So they'll go out and do that. Or family members can call, the patient themselves can call, the neighbor can call. We've had the mail lady call before and say, hey, I've seen this lady, she needs help on her deck. It's too much of an angle. Can you guys, and we've been able to help with that. So anybody could call for the program. It's not about how it gets referred, it's how to fix the problem.
Yeah.
So
interesting. You can find more about this at northmasonrfa.com. Also on social media, we'll put the links to all this on the interview when we post it. The main line there is 275-6711, and the address up there, 460 Old Belfair Highway in Belfair. Jeromy Hicks from the North Mason Regional Fire Authority. Good talking with you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Come back in about a month or so. Let's talk some more.
Absolutely.